This is TaskSpoon, the series where I try to complete the collection log one random task at a time. After completing all the easy tasks, I'm ready to move on to longer and harder challenges as I attempt to conquer the medium tier. Welcome to Season 2 of TaskSpoon. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 48 of the TaskSpoon series. In the last video, I murdered a lot of wyverns, both skeletal wyverns and fossil island wyverns. I got the granite longsword and granite legs, along with dragon legs and a dragon plate skirt to boot. And then we ended the video by rolling a fire cape task. Thank goodness, I've been waiting for this task forever. I'm very excited to go and do a fire cape. First things first, I need to do some editing, so I'm going to AFK some wood cutting in the fanciest outfit I have, and then we'll just jump right into it. While I'm doing my wood cutting, I'm going through the wiki and trying to find a viable setup for this fight caves for me. My levels are actually pretty good, my gear is pretty bad. If you take a look at, like, for example, the ranged only setup, all of the things that I have are like 3rd, 4th, or 5th, or not even on the list other than like Barrow's gloves, because of course. But I did a little bit of DPS calculations here, and although I only did it for the majors, I figured those are going to be sort of the bulk of the fight caves experience. And so I have one setup here with an MSBI with broad arrows, my other setup here with a rune crossbow with broad bolts, and the target I just put in the same defense because for some reason they didn't have it on there. And as you can see here, the DPS for the rune crossbow with broad bolts is actually higher, which I didn't expect. So that's probably what I'm going to end up using. And then I'll make some diamond bolts E for Jad himself. Not going to bother using them the whole cave because that would be a waste. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going to end up going with. This setup right here. Rune crossbow, broad bolts, my full range setup. Yeah. So I've been doing my preparations for this fight cave. I made 636 diamond bolts E. That's going to be way more than enough. And it turns out I'm actually a high enough level that I can boost to make raining potions, which is very convenient because the only raining potion I have was a 2-dose from a grubby chest at one point. So I'm going to boost with a botanical pie and make some raining potions for this and for the future, which is nice to see. I fortunately somehow managed to just have enough supplies in here to make, I think I have 22 Wines of Zamrak, so yeah, that's nice. I'll actually have some raining potions for the cave. And for your helpful fairy ring code tip of the day, if you ever want to go to Tazar Place, it's the big lava people. There you go. Okay, here we go. This is what I've decided to go with here. A little bit of food, lots of prayer pots, a few raining pots, and I brought my bolt switch for Jad, and a shield switch, which I contemplated not bringing, but I figured that when the majors and the rangers are out, I can switch to the shield while I kill the rangers while I use protect from magic, because anytime the majors are out, you always want to have protect from magic on. But that way it'll hopefully make me a little bit tankier against the rangers, and I won't take as much damage. I don't know how much of this I'm going to show. Most of these waves are not particularly interesting, so yeah, I'll show you anything interesting that happens. I would also like to make it known that it has been a long time since I've done a fight caves, and the last fight cave I did was on Leagues, where it was a complete joke. I'm pretty sure I did it with melee, and I nearly 100% AFK'd just the whole thing. Literally just auto-retaliate, killed everything. So yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm nervous, but it's definitely been a while, so we'll see how it goes. And as I'm talking, I just realized that I could have actually brought my purple sweets into here and actually had a use for them for once. So, oops, whatever. Now I realized I never really explained what the fight caves was. Now, anyone that's ever played RuneScape ever probably already knows this, but fight caves is this little challenge where you go through a bunch of waves and then you fight a boss at the end, and if you beat it, you get a fire cape, which is why I'm here, and the fire cape is one of the best melee capes in the game. It has a good strength bonus and some decent defense, so very good cape, very happy to get this. The way the waves work is they slowly get harder and harder, and the way the enemies work is sort of interesting, where you start off with 1 bat on the first wave, the next wave has 2 bats, and then on the next wave, those 2 bats combine into one of those fat blob enemies, and then you add another bat, and then you add another bat, and then those 2 bats combine again to have 2 fat blob enemies, and then those 2 fat blob enemies combine to have one of the rangers, and so it's sort of like this weird combining of enemies, where the waves slowly get more and more difficult just by 1 bat's worth of enemies at a time, and then anytime there's 2 of an enemy on the next wave, they combine into one of the harder enemies. So right now I am with these big guys, which are the meleeers, and you'll notice that wave had 1 bat and a meleeer, this next wave is going to have 2 bats and one of the meleeers, and then the next wave after that is going to have a meleeer and a blob. I don't know if this made any sense to anyone other than myself, but that's sort of how it works. The majority of the challenge of the fight waves comes when there's both majors and rangers out. Anything that attacks with melee, being these blobs, these big guys, and the bats, are all pretty easy to deal with because you can just get them stuck behind things like this, and you don't really have to do anything. But when there's the majors and the rangers out, they can obviously both hit you from range, or from distance rather, and you can only pray against one of them at a time. And anytime there's a major up, you need to have Pray Mage on, because it can hit like up to 50, and it's very accurate. So the main challenge is once you've accumulated enough of these enemies to where there's a major out and any amount of rangers, that's when it starts to get a little bit dicey. Until then, it's pretty easy. You'll notice I'm just hugging this rock, which is affectionately named Italy Rock, because it looks like Italy, because it's like a boot. It's very useful. The way the pathing works for enemies is they always try and go like west and then north first or something. I don't really know how it works, but the rock is just set up in a way that it's super easy to get them stuck behind stuff, them being the melee enemies, and you can just sort of safe spot most of them. Obviously they all come from different angles and they spawn, I was gonna say randomly, technically it's not random, but if you don't actually look up where the waves spawn, which I obviously haven't because I don't really care, it's essentially random, so you sort of have to work it out as you go. But yeah, if you just hug Italy Rock, you can always find a safe spot somewhere around here, and I just have these tiles marked for the corners, because this area is a little bit of cancer on your eyes. The black and red is sort of hard to distinguish sometimes, so this is easy for me to just sort of know where I am, where the enemies are, and where the safe spots are. One other thing you'll notice is anytime there's a bat enemy, it'll be highlighted in blue. That's just so I can see them easier. The bats are a little bit special in the sense that anytime they hit you, whether they hit a 0 or whatever, they will drain your prayer, which is really annoying, so you almost always want to make sure they're either safe spotted behind another enemy or you just kill them first. Otherwise you'll be losing prayer unnecessarily, and that's sort of the whole game of the fight waves, especially when you're lower levels or with worse gear. It's just about resource management. You want to make sure that you have enough prayer and food to last you the whole time, so getting prayer drained unnecessarily by level 20 bats is not the best way to start. One other thing to note is the rangers and the majors, even though they do primarily attack with range and mage, will still melee you if you get within melee distance, and their melees hit pretty damn hard, especially the majors. So whenever you're trying to safe spot a meleeer behind one of the rangers or majors, you just have to make sure you don't actually get in melee range, otherwise they will smack you. And you kind of need to have, especially with the majors, you need to have Pray Mage up while you're fighting them, and so you can't really take the gamble of hoping you don't get smacked for a 50. And this is sort of what I was talking about. You can get them stuck behind a ranger like this, and as long as you're praying range, obviously the ranger can't hit you, and the 2 melee guys stuck behind him also can't reach you. So as long as you don't get within melee range of the ranger, you're pretty much safe. Okay, this is the last of the easy waves. Oh, look at that guy. Grats. Last of the easy waves here. These two meleeers are going to combine into a major, and I'm going to have at least one magey boy for the rest of the waves, so now is when it gets somewhat dangerous. One thing that I like to do is tag all the majors and swap it to the true tile tag style, and you can see exactly where their little outline is, and then just make sure you're always 1 tile away. It's really useful when you're trying to hit stuff behind the major, because if you just click on it, sometimes the guy will run into melee range, so instead you click 1 tile away, and then you know you can attack the other side of him. And I call this technique lag and accidentally get meleeed by a major and AFK in a corner for a while to regenerate health. You're welcome to try it. Okay, I finally made it to what I consider the hard waves. From here on out, there will always be a ranger and a major. I don't really know if I have any great advice other than, and this is my advice for the whole cave in general, just don't panic. A lot of people get, they get flustered and they do something stupid. I like to stand, actually right where I have that spicy pizza tile there, I like to stand there at the beginning of waves and just sort of work out, how do I want to save spot these, what's the easiest way to go about it. And yeah, don't panic, and just make sure you have Prey Mage on. I like how I say I don't know how much of this I'm going to show you, and then I proceed to record like 20 clips of me talking about the fight caves. I don't know how many of those clips are going to make it into the video, but I just thought that was funny. And the last tip in the Teaspoon's Guide to the Fight Caves, wherever the orange major spawns is where Jad's going to spawn. So I saw he spawned somewhere up there, so I know where I can stand to safe spot him, which is actually right here, which is super convenient, because I think this is the best spot on Italy Rock to actually fight him. So that's nice. So now when I kill it, I can just go behind this rock over here. I know Jad's going to spawn up there, and I can make sure I've got everything ready before I start fighting him, like full prayer and wearing my diamond bolts. And I'm actually going to regen a little bit of health here just because I can. No point not to. I don't want to use a shark, but I do want a bit more health, so I'm going to wait a bit before I actually go out there. And yeah. Yeah, screw it. I'm not going to get hit. Okay, I wasn't a huge fan of getting my ass beat by this one healer, but hooray! We've done it! Yay! Now, just to show off how incredibly good this actually is, the Obsidian Cape, which is what I was using most of the time, just has 9 defense bonus and everything. The Fire Cape has better defense bonus and everything, plus a 1 accuracy bonus in everything, plus a 2 prayer bonus, plus, the most important thing, 4 melee strength. This cape is insanely good, and I'm going to be using it for a very long time. So, very happy to get that done, and we can go get a new task. For some reason, my recorder bugged, so you didn't get to see it, but I completed that one. Very happy to be done that, and let's get a new task. Metal boots? Okay, I think we're on adamant boots. I forget what drops those. Okay, just checked. We are in fact on adamant boots, and I now remember what drops those. Gargoyles, which, if you don't know, require 75 Slayer to kill, which means I'm going back to Slayer for 3 more levels. I just got 72 in the last video for Skeletal Wyverns, so looks like we're back to the Slayer grind. I will say these metal boot upgrade tasks are a little bit less fun, considering the adamant boots only have a +1 strength bonus, which usually would be great. But even the rune boots only have a +2 compared to the spike manacles that I got like 30 episodes ago with the +4. So until I get to dragon boots, which have +4 strength as well as better defense bonus, I actually probably won't use any of these metal boots. So that's kind of sad in terms of like upgrades. Getting the rune boots would be great for clue scrolls because this hard clue has haunted me. And even the adamant boots are in a medium clue that I can't do yet. So that's both good, but the actual upgrade aspect of it, Another interesting thing about getting a fire cape is I can actually go through here. I just have to show him that I have a fire cape, and he'll let me through into the inner city of the Tazar area, which means I can actually kill the higher level Tazars for obsidian armor pieces. I don't remember exactly where they are. Is that one? Yeah, that's one of them. The level 221s. So I can actually get obsidian armor now from drops, which is kind of cool. And there's some other somewhat interesting things in here. Nothing super relevant to me right now, but it's just a neat little thing now that I have a fire cape that I'm allowed in here. I know I've said this like every episode for the past like 3 episodes, but I just keep getting better and better gear upgrades, and it just feels so good. I'm like so motivated to go and do things. I'm so happy I got the fire cape task before this Slayer task, so I can use it for the whole time. This is great. There is one more thing I wanted to do before I get back to Slayer, and I just noticed I had all these bones in my bank, and I'm just gonna give it to this guy and get a buttload of construction XP. I believe it's somewhere, yeah, 87,000. That's pretty nice. I wanted to try and get 69, nice. I want to try and get a bit more construction. I talked about it earlier, but I want to get the pool to restore my run energy in my house, which is 70. I can boost for that already. I need the herb lore level for that. But I also want to be able to build the spirit tree in my house, so I need a few more farming levels and a few more construction levels. I think you can boost. Well, I know you could stew boost. I don't know if the saw works on the spirit tree. I doubt it. But either way, I'd love to get a few more construction levels to be able to boost to build a couple of useful things in my house. I'm not going to do it right now because that's a little bit too far away from my task, but I was running out of bank space and I remembered I had all those bones in there, so figured I'd do that right now. I know I've said this like 100 times at this point, but it just feels so good. This is like peak Iron Man Slayer. Got the fire cape, dragon scimitar, the dragon defender, I got a glory, Barrow's gloves. Somehow I have spike manacles, which usually you wouldn't. Got the Slayer helm. I got the cannon. This is great. I just keep getting wyvern tasks. This was a wyvern task, although it doesn't go back far enough. Then I had a greater demon task. Then I got a fossil island wyvern task, which I just completed there. And then now I have another regular wyvern task. It's like I can't escape them. That's why my XP per hour is so cheeks right now, by the way. You can see here 12.8k on the tracker. That is not very good, but wyverns are terrible for XP, but they just feel like such a waste to skip because they take so like little time, and there's always the chance I get a visage on them. And when you're on the Slayer task and you get the Slayer helm, you get the extra accuracy and damage. It just feels like a waste to skip them, but they're so bad for experience. By the way, this is some extremely rare footage you're seeing here. Probably the rarest thing you've ever seen on the channel. Me doing farm runs. Lamau. Hey, first of 3 Slayer levels, 73 Slayer coming in. I just got, I already banked the curve bone, but I just got a 1 in 5,000 curve bone, followed by a 1 in 3,277 runite bar, and then a 1 in 1,600 shield left half. What is going on this task? I probably should have done this first before restarting my farming runs, because I'm definitely going to get a bottomless compost bucket right here. Okay, well, it would have been cool, but hey, 78 farming. Oh yeah, and at some point I hit 100 combat, which isn't really relevant other than the pest control boat, which I won't even end up using, because I think the intermediate boat ends up being faster points per hour, because the games just go by quicker. But it was just something neat. I'm feeling an eternal gem on this one. Okay, never mind. What about Miss Battle Staff? Okay, no. Okay, this is it. 197k Slayer XP today at just about 16k XP per hour. It's about 12 hours of Slayer. I'm so tired, I want to go to bed, but I really wanted to get that level. So I got one more level to go tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to sleep. Please excuse my voice, I am very sick, but I got 80 farming and 1750 total level. So that's pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to go back to dying now. I haven't really been recording anything because nothing really too interesting has happened, and also my voice sounds like this. But yeah, 74k Slayer XP so far. I've been doing as much Slayer as I can while I feel okay, but I've just been sleeping mostly, so yeah. Okay, here we go. One more Cal fight, 75 Slayer. I can officially go and start slaying the Gargoyles. I'm going to just finish this task over at the little guys, and then we'll go get started. But before we get started with the Gargoyles, I've got 25 brimstone keys from my slaying so far. Gonna go ahead and open them all. Alright, nothing too particularly interesting there. Let's go get started. Alright, here we are at the Gargoyles, finally. I've been doing like farm runs and herb stuff for a while, so glad to start this. I'm feeling a little bit better, although my voice still probably sounds like crap. Either way, gonna start hitting the Gargoyles and hope for some boots. Hey, a combat task. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before, but the adamant boots are 1 out of 128, and there's also the granite maul, which is 1 out of 256, and the mystic robe top dark, which is 1 out of 512. All of them are on the medium tier, so technically I could get any of them, although the adamant boots are the most likely, so that's probably what I'll get first. Okay, granite maul. Again, not exactly what I was going for here, but we'll take it. I can mark that one off on the spreadsheet, so that's nice. I probably should have been more excited about that, considering that's actually rarer than the item I'm going for here, and that's still a medium task in the spreadsheet, so that's awesome, but yeah, I still have to stay here, so I guess I'm not that excited. I forgot to turn my recorder back on, because this was like the kill after, but hey, we got him! Nice! I'm so stupid. Because I was wearing a Ring of Wealth the whole time, any coins drops wouldn't track properly on RuneLite, so I had to get an enchanted gem to check the kill count, which ended up being 68. Damn, one off. But yeah, very spooned for both the maul and the boots. You'll love to see it. And let's go get a new task for next video. And here we are on the spreadsheet. I've already marked off the granite maul, and we can go ahead and complete the metal boots. And let's see what we are doing next time. Big shark, okay. Now, if you've watched the series from the beginning, I believe it was in episode 9, where I spent over 40 hours fishing swordfish to try and get the big swordfish. I then proceeded to get 2 more big swordfish within the next couple hours of fishing while I was doing some editing. So I have some pretty weird luck when it comes to the big fish. I'm hoping the big shark is no worse, because sharks are going to take a lot longer to catch, so hopefully I have a bit better luck there. But either way, this will give me something nice to do while I edit this video, so I can't complain. But either way, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This video ended up being like 4 days of me just grinding Slayer, trying to stay awake at my computer, battling this sickness, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and maybe leave a like for that. That'll make me feel better. Thank you. As always, I want to give a big shout out to all of my channel members, but especially Alchemist BTW, Ray Benavides, and Jack Staumer, I hope I'm saying that right, for the Tier 3 Big Spoon channel memberships. I really appreciate all you guys. Thank you. But that's it from me for this video. I will see you guys next time.